We are back. Listen, see who's on the screen? I heard he gets a lot of flack. I've seen some of his videos. Never responded to them before, did a video on it before because it didn't really matter to me. But this one right here, like it or not, I agree with what he said, and I want to just give a little bit of feedback because he made a lot of sense. He made a whole lot of sense of what's going on in the region.
Iran has destroyed at least 13 bases. The Pentagon is lying to us. Iran hit the Gerald Ford and took it out of commission. They told us about the Gerald Ford that there was a fire in the laundry room. Well, it's being repaired for 2 weeks. You're telling me that the biggest and most sophisticated U.S. carrier, which is the biggest and most expensive class of ships that we have, the Ford class carrier, you're telling me that got taken offline for 2 weeks because of a fire in the laundry room? That's not true. Simultaneously, 13 U.S. bases in Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, elsewhere, Qatar, they have been taken offline. This is more damage to U.S. air bases, I believe, than any point during the Iraq War. These bases have been rendered inoperable. The damage is extensive. They're underreporting the extent of it. And they're actually putting up soldiers now in hotels because they can't stay at the bases. There was an attack at a base in Saudi Arabia that killed 13 people today. There was another attack last week. It took out 5 refueling aircraft. They're allegedly shooting aircraft out of the sky over Iranian or Iraqi airspace. So here's the question. We can't protect the strait. We can't protect our military bases. We can't protect our floating base, which is the carrier. How are we going to protect an island that's off the coast of Iran?
And that is what I was thinking. With no logistical support and with these bases are uninhabitable, how are you going to get medical supplies, food, right? Supplies to these troops that are there. And I keep hearing people going there, oh, 82nd, they're about to find out. Yes, those men can do things that 99% of the men in the world cannot do. Highly trained. That I believe they can do their job. But they still need logistical support. They still need supplies. They still need medical supplies. There will be casualties. How are you going to get these people out and caretaking for them if there's no bases in the region to do any kind of medical procedures? Like, how far are they going to fly them? And now, and this is why this video is important, because it goes into the next one, because this is true. I was deployed there last year in that area and during the 12-day war, and all the alarms and stuff was going off, and we had to jump up out of our bed and run into the bunkers, right? And it was annoying. And I called some people, and they were like, yo, this place is completely, this is gone. There's nothing here. He's right about them moving into hotels. The person that I spoke to, they had to move 2 times because they were like, yo, they just kept hitting the base. There's nothing there. And I'm like, well, damn. Where are they going to get the help from? Where are you going to get the support from?
And the coastline of Iran is 600 miles. So you've got 600 miles of coastline from which Iranians are going to be launching fiber optic drones that can't be jammed.
And yes, everybody who keeps saying, yeah, we're going to get it done. Listen, go look at that. I watched a little documentary. I don't know, it was like 12 minutes long. Can't remember what channel it was. And it was showing how in Russia and Ukraine on the front lines, there were these cables everywhere that made the whole sky look like a spider web. And that's because they were sending their suicide drones in. And I remember playing Call of Duty, getting killed by a drone. And I'm like, they don't got this kind of technology. There's nothing to come fly. And they do. It's real. You can watch some of the videos of people getting destroyed in the Ukraine war. by this little miniature thing getting flown over through some cable and just coming and exploding in their face. It's crazy. And you telling me that Iran has hundreds, if not thousands, of these things because they're so cheap to make? And they've been planning for years? You're sending these people into some a situation is like, I'm just not understanding logistically how you're gonna get this done and keep these men alive. It's a new type of warfare out here. This isn't World War I or World War II.
Literally have an unspooling fiber optic cable behind it connected to the receiver. How are you going to shoot down hundreds of drones flying at the island? How are you going to shoot down what may be Iran's most precise and advanced missiles that they haven't used yet because they're waiting to exhaust U.S. interceptors? The inevitable conclusion is that this is a suicide mission wherever we do it, whether we do it on Karg Island or whether we do it in the Strait of Hormuz. And they know that. Israel knows that. The United States knows that many soldiers are going to die.
And no matter what side you're on, Democrat, Republican, Independent, you should be against soldiers losing their life. And I don't come in my comments, oh, but that's what they signed up for. You got to man up. Bro, make it make sense that there is no support in the area to get you out, to help you medically. That sounds like suicide to me. Congress is supposed to declare war. They did not. Apparently, they're on vacation for the next couple weeks. I mean, I heard this a few days ago, so maybe a week left. But why are they on vacation and not saying, hey, stop this? People are going to lose their lives. Young men and women are going to lose their lives. Like, some have already lost their lives with these bases getting bombed, because I don't believe that only 13 people got killed with all these bases destroyed. I don't. This is insane. And this goes into the next video.
This is not our war. We will not be drawn into the conflict. That is not in our national interest. And the most effective way we can support the cost of living in Britain is to push for de-escalation in the Middle East and a reopening of the Strait of Hormuz.
Our biggest ally, Britain, UK, who always helps, who helped in our Iran-Afghanistan war, has said it's not their war. They're not sending support troops like before because their pockets are getting drained. People are hurting financially over this around the globe. And the reason why I was making this is because Britain just announced this. France said they're not helping. You cannot use our airstrips to bring supplies into the Middle East. Why is that? Because all the bases there are gone. Like I said, how can you support this logistically with no help? Italy has just said, we're not letting you fly your planes and land here in support of this Iran conflict. So is this the end of NATO? Is this the beginning of the end of NATO? Because that's three countries that are in NATO that always help out because we have bases there. Bases in the UK. I think there's a base in France. Maybe just little hubs or an airstrip. I know for a fact there's bases in Italy. I was stationed in Germany. I know there's bases in Germany. And that leads to my next point. I have not heard Germany say anything. If you know anything about being in the military and being deployed, you go through Germany. Everyone knows this. Troops go through there, supplies go through there, planes land there all day and all night to support. Why? Because those products, supplies, people need to go to the Middle East. And they haven't said anything yet. Not that I've heard. You can fact check me. But without logistical support, how can you continue to support this? without these allies that we have an agreement with helping us in the area, how can you? Let's just think about this. And this happened a few hours ago. I didn't pull up the video. But there's another group in Iraq that just made it. They drove into Iran with support, with supplies. They literally said it was supplies and other medical equipment to help Iran. And guess how many people they put? It was 2 million people ready to go. So you're going to sit here and tell me that a few 50,000 they said are in the whole region and they're putting 10. So 10, I could be wrong. They're saying 10 plus whoever's already in the region, 50,000. You're not telling me that 50,000 people are about to invade this place and take it over against 2 million other forces, drones, and another million Iranian forces. This cannot be real. This cannot be happening. Like I said, it doesn't matter what side that you vote on. This is wrong across the whole scale. I don't want to see any more people lose their lives. Over what?
Which is such a vital route for energy. Brexit did deep damage to our economy, and the opportunities to strengthen our security and cut the cost of living are simply too big to ignore. So, in the coming weeks, we will announce a new summit with our EU partners. And I can tell you that at that summit, the UK will not just ratify existing commitments made at last year's summit. This is not...
Basically, he's saying with the next few weeks, they're going to tell the US to go F off. We're not helping y'all, and the rest of the EU is not going to help y'all. And with the United States not being in in NATO, is this the end of NATO? Is NATO turning their back on the United States?